Hi guys, as you know, my name is Deliwe Silepe, and I know, right? This is beautiful. It's actually a change of background because I'm at my parents' house. Decided to come visit them for the weekend. It was actually quite cool. We had some fun. I missed my sisters so much. I know Zanile was at my house last week, but like I missed Zanile like a lot. And she can't visit much because she's studying all the time. So like school is her number one thing this year. So I'm just like respecting that. But yeah, I came here just for her. Well, and my mom and dad and my brother, like everyone. So anyways, so today we're going to be talking about the interview. So how to ace your interview, how to do well on your interview. And yo, guys, where do I start? So I've had how many jobs? Let's say five, right? It's probably more than that because there's a place where I worked for a month. Let's not go there. Don't ask. But yeah, let's say five. And of those five interviews that I've had, I've literally I think no, I've had five jobs, but 9 out of 10 interviews that I've had, I've gotten the job. So I'm quite lucky. Just as long as I get the interview. I know when I get the interview, I'm in. I'm benegant. so I have three tips for you. Just actually three topics. Each one I'll unpack it a little bit. Just to help you how to ace your interviews. Very simple. So the one thing you need to remember before I get onto those three things, right, is that first of all, when you are on an interview, right, chances are that the person interviewing you wants you. So it's like, I want to be your friend, you want to be my friend, but like we're trying to figure out if we can trust each other. I'm trying to figure out if I can trust you, if any of the things coming from your mouth or coming out of your mouth are true or not, and all of that will be my gut feel. But there's something you can do to help me figure that out. Do you understand? So yeah, like it's just a few things like that. But like also when a person calls you for an interview, they want you. Like the job is yours to lose, you know? When they said to Kayam Tetra in 2010, I think it was 2010 or something like that, when they said to him, this competition is yours to lose. I think Unati said that to him. And I knew that it was. Like all he had to do is just mess it up and he'd lose it. But yeah, he just had to be himself and then he got it. You know what I mean? So that's you when you're in an interview. Or like do well. Actually, the best thing is to just give it your all, show that you want this, and then you got the job, right? So the three things that I'm going to talk about are, the first one, okay, well, sorry, before we get to the first one, another thing that you must know, I'll probably allude to this again later in one of my points, but one of the things you need to know is that the person interviewing you did not go to school for interviewing people. You know what I mean? Like they're not trained interviewers. I mean, you know what I mean? Like they're just people that they're winging this, and they know what they're trying to get from this interview, and that's good enough. I mean, I remember I was also I've been on both sides of the interview table. So I've been the person interviewing people, and that was awesome. And I've definitely been interviewed. So I remember when I was interviewing people, the people I was interviewing with were like seniors, way like above me. I was basically a junior to them, and they called me in because I had done it. So it was for a bursary, an industry bursary, and I had done the course before, so they knew the type of person that, and I was so good at that. I did really well, so they knew the type of person that was needed was the type of person that I would know because I went to class with people like that. I was one of those people, so they trusted my judgment, yabo. And what I learned from that is that these people actually they're not like trained interviewers. They don't really know. Like sometimes they took leads from me, it's just like, don't you like do this like all the time? But yeah, so that's the thing, yabo. So anyways, let's get on to the first points. Okay, so the first one is you need to prepare this question like you need to know it. You need to know it as in you can say it word for word, but also remember that in preparing, even if it happens that you forget something, you can always, make something up. So firstly, tell us about yourself. Shoo, where do I start? Like, I feel like there's a whole topic on this thing, right? This is a video on its own. Tell us about yourself. But tell us about yourself is a question where they're trying to figure out what type of a person you are, right? Who are you? And all of that will come not from what you say really, well, actually from what you say and from how you say it and from how you structured this whole thing. And if you can articulate yourself properly while answering this question and thinking about what to say. So firstly, I would start by saying, my name is Deliwe Silepe. I know that they already know this. I know this. Like, trust me, they already know that you are whatever, and this is your name and whatever. But you tell them a little bit of a story about yourself. So I mean, I was helping somebody and I told them exactly what to say. So please do come to me. I'll put my email address there. Just send me an email if you feel like you need help with this, and I will help you, like personally you, on how to answer this. But with me, for instance, I would say, so I'm Deliwe Silepe, from the Vaal, but I currently live in Joburg. This is what I like. This is, you know, and then maybe talk about your strengths and weaknesses, just one strength and one weakness. But even when you do that, it has to be something that is not off-putting. Your weakness mustn't be something that's off-putting. For instance, I'm applying for a sales job, right? I'll say to them, my strength is that I'm good with relationships, relationship building, obviously, because a salesperson has to be good with relationships. And then you'll say, and also you'll even say, like, even with friendships, like, it's easy for me and all of that. Then with weaknesses, you'll say something like, but I hate admin. I just know that I have to do it, but I hate it, you know, because, you know, most you have to record everything, and there is admin in every job, I think. Well, I believe, especially sales job. But yeah, so you'll say something like that, and then just put it together and just make it in such a way that you can lead them to the next thing. And then just to throw something else in there, that if they don't know what to ask next, you can, this is the one thing that they can ask you, right? Also say something like, oh, I love rugby. And then they'll be like, oh, really? Tell us. So which is your favorite rugby team? Or like whatever, you know, whatever that you like, put it in there as well, because that will spark something there, or it has a potential of sparking something, and that person will definitely ask you further to say, oh, so tell me, you said you like rugby. What exactly about rugby do you like? When did you play it, or whatever, you know, like you could say whatever. I like swimming and whatever, just like being in the water. And then they'll ask you again, like, what do you know, like, what do you mean? Because they're trying to get to know you as a person, and this is the part, it's like the get to know me part, you know, like when we do the 10 things you don't know about me, get to know me video. This is it, right? So like listen to a lot of those, also read up on a lot of things like that. But most importantly, know what you want to say about yourself. And the nice thing about an interview, as I said, the person giving an interview does not really know, like, they're not an expert in giving interviews. So that person might not have a list of questions. And even if they do, they might feel like they can off ramp. So you're giving them something to off ramp to when you say, well, I used to make ice cream. Just something interesting about you. Anything, like, it could be that you're a skincare enthusiast or whatever. Just tell them that, and then they'll ask you a follow-up question. So it is very possible to lead the whole interview to what you want, because that's the last thing you said, and that's the last thing that they remember, right? So that's the first thing. I hope I spoke about it properly. I just don't want to make it too much of a long video. Like I said, if you feel like you have more questions, you can actually comment down below, or send me an email and say, hey, like, what do I say here? You know, I don't know what to say on tell us about yourself. Like, that's the one thing I don't know how to answer. I will help you, trust me. My second thing is either what are your strengths and weaknesses? But if you already answered that on your tell us about yourself thing, so they might probably not ask you that, but it could be what's the one thing you've done? Prepare that. Please prepare your strengths and weaknesses. Prepare tell us about yourself. Also prepare what's the one thing that you've done to help somebody in your life. And the tricky thing about this question is that you don't want to be sitting there thinking, oof, no, because it's not a good look, and already they're thinking, okay, but like, so rather try to avoid that. Just whatever you do, like, it must just be like, just say something now. And actually, when I was helping one of my friends, it was the three of us. My other friend said, just make something up. And I said to them, you know what? It shows when you do make something up. People are not as stupid as we think. Actually, people are very, very intelligent. You know, sometimes when you're lying, and people know that you're lying, but they're not telling you that they know that you're lying. That's how life works. People are very smart. They can tell these things, you know what I mean? And sometimes they can tell through something that you said, and sometimes it just makes them believe none of the things you've said so far. Yeah, but so you don't want that. So anyways, just remember the scenarios that happen in your life. For instance, with my little sister, I would give her a tip that said, so for instance, she was a maid of honor at my wedding. So that's that. Just remember that. Keep that in mind. My other little sister is in school, so she's like, you know, going through Koso and Koso Yashapa. So like there's that too, right? So have scenarios in your life. And also I don't know, somebody else has something that you like maybe, and they didn't know how to fix that thing. I don't know, like for instance, say you're into cars and then one of your friends has a car and they had a problem with cars, and then you help them there. But try to have scenarios in your mind so that when that time comes and they ask you, that you can say, oh, my sister was getting married and she was going through a whole lot of emotions. There was a point where she couldn't stop crying. She was just so stressed. By the way, this didn't happen to me. I was like the happiest bride ever. But I'm just saying, like, you just make something up like that from a true situation and say, and I had to help her. I sat her down and I said to her, look at yourself, you look beautiful, whatever, you know, those things you see in the movies, and just say things like, yeah, I had to sit her down and tell her, you're beautiful and you're marrying an amazing man. You really, like, I know that you want to do this. You've been looking forward to this whole year. You've been telling me about this. It's finally here. God loves you that much that he gave you this day that you've been looking forward to for so long. And that's the one thing that you would have said. But like, you obviously know the things in your life. Prepare those things. It could be that, I don't know, one of your friends had I don't know, like anything, or failed a grade. That's another thing. I think all of us have had friends that have failed a grade or a module or whatever, and you tell them that, you know, listen, my friend, it's not the end of the world. You can do it. This is whatever, something that you did to motivate another person. Because remember, as I said, they're trying to get to know you as a person. That's why they're asking you questions like this. Yeah, well, so you can say things like that, but have a situation in your mind, even if it didn't happen exactly that way, but the situation must be true. At least that situation must be true. Otherwise, you can make something up there, or you can exaggerate. Actually, let me not say make something up, but you can exaggerate. Yeah, one. So, so yeah, that's that. And I think another one, so with the strengths and weaknesses, I already told you what to say. So it's either that or this. With the strengths and weaknesses, please make sure that the weakness is not off-putting. For instance, if I'm applying for being a waitress, I can't say I hate people. That's my weakness. Dude, you're not going to get this job. I mean, everything could be perfect, but your weakness, you said you hate people. Like, what? Like, no, sorry, I'm not going to give you this job, because like, you're going to be working with people, you know? And then the last thing, ne? Very, very important. When they ask you, do you have any questions? Ne? You don't say, no, I'm good, I think you answered everything. No, because when it starts, they're going to say, okay, so this company is called Deliwe Holdings, and this is what we do. We do 1, 2, 3, and then we, obviously, as you know, we're looking for a person who's able to do 4, 5, 6. These are all the things you know, so they're repeating them just to break the ice maybe, and then they'll say, so that's why you're here, tell us about yourself, right? But that would have answered a lot of your questions, probably. And then maybe they'll even tell you how much you're going to get paid, whatever, all those things. Maybe not. Actually, sometimes they don't even talk about these things until the negotiation comes. But they would have answered a lot of your questions. But dude, find a question to ask. For instance, this is a question that you can ask, like, Nomalanjan. Say something like, so how are you finding it here? To the person, like, say when now you're interviewing me. Then I'll say, oh, so how are you finding it here? How long have you been working here, and how are you finding it here? And that person say, oh, okay, well, I think it's actually pretty cool. It's such a nice company, blah, 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 whatever. Sometimes they'll be lying, because a lot of people, 9 out of 10 people hate their jobs. But like, you know, they'll think about it and think about what to say, and they'll have to make something up. If they hate it, they won't tell you that. They'll obviously say something like, oh, it's actually quite nice here. I like the fact that this and this and that. And if it's more than one person in the interview, then you'll say, obviously, can you guys tell me how you finding it here? You know, and then they will tell you, like, each one of them will say that. And also what I like is that what normally happens if it's more than one person will ask the next person, or will answer, and then the next person will be like, ish, my question, I have to top that person depending on their personalities, or like I have to top that answer. Okay, maybe I'll say I like this, and the other one, okay, because everybody has this thing where they're all trying to impress. I don't know why, but it's a human thing where you're trying to be better than the other person. Also, like I said, depending on the type of person you are, some people don't really care, but they will answer and they will think about it, and the other person's answer will impact their answers. So yeah, you ask that question, you don't end it there. If maybe they've already answered that somehow miraculously, which they will not have, you ask a question like, or maybe you add on and say, if they say any more questions, then you ask another question and say, so what exactly, or how are you going to measure my success? For instance, if you're applying to be an intern in a company, unless if you know, like maybe it's one of those companies or jobs where like, it's like a black and white thing. You pack 50 boxes, that's how we know you're doing well. And if you can pack 50 boxes of whatever in the shelves in an hour, then we know you're doing well. Maybe that's the type of job it is. So in that case, you don't have to ask this. But if it's one of those open-ended, first week it's like, oh, what do I do? Like, yeah, when you're still not sure, as much as there was a job description on the thing, which you must be able to do this and this and that, what exactly are you going to do? You're not sure. Like, and maybe now they're not 100% sure, but they know that they need the help, which you can offer, right? So in that case, then you ask, how is my success going to be measured? I asked this in an interview, and when I was interviewing to be an intern at MediaMark, and I remember the guy was just like, he had to think about it, He was like, well, you'll be given tasks and you just have to do them. I was just like, that's such a bad answer. But like, then he elaborated, and then he was like, okay, he bounced back from that. But I know that he thought about it. I know for a fact that he thought about it, which is quite cool. And that is one of the reasons why a person becomes memorable, or you become memorable as a person doing the interview, right? Because remember, all of you guys are here. Oh, and then another thing, actually, my little sister gave me this one because she was like, that's what she will ask when she gets asked a question in an interview. She said, it will be something like, what would your reservations be about hiring me? Or what would your concerns be about hiring me? Personally, I'm a bit shaky about that because I feel like it's just giving them a reason to say, actually, I do have concerns about hiring you. But, maybe do ask that as well. And then they'll say, well, first of all, there've been like many people that came here. So like, you're not the only one, and we're trying to find the best one. But otherwise, I think you're doing well. That's probably the answer they'll give you, Gabon. Because we're asking, what this question is basically saying, why would you not hire me? So in that case, then you say, well, thank you for that. And if there's something that you can answer on that, and you feel like you can tackle this, if maybe, but we're just not sure about you or whatever, then you'll say, oh, okay, I'll answer it immediately. Okay, but answer it immediately, and just so you know, about your concern, you're going to 1, 2, 3. Mina, I'm actually 4, 5, 6, so you don't have anything to worry about in terms of that. So you just cancelling that out. But if it's something that is open-ended, and something like, not even open-ended, something like there's others and we're trying to see who the best candidate is, then you can say something like, oh, well, good luck with that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the honest answer, but just know that if you hire me, you won't regret it. And then you laugh. So that's also another personality thing that you're adding in there, right? And then when you do leave, if they haven't said this, and this is not like when they ask you if you have any questions, when you do leave, please don't forget to ask Guti, when can I expect an answer from you? They will probably tell you. If they don't tell you, maybe they forgot, or they just don't tell people when they'll call them. They're like, we'll call you whenever, you know what I mean? Then you ask when they're like shaking hands and they're like, thank you so much for coming. We'll get a call from us. And then so yeah, Hambi, I want to see they haven't said anything about when, like they will give you a call. So then you ask them, when will you give me a call? And they will remember this. If they, like, depending on the type of people they are, they will remember, we'd see after 2 weeks, but we said we're going to call abanye abantwana. And remember the other one is Buzu, we'd see, so I think we should call them. Okay, but then it will kind of give them a deadline, as opposed to those people that, you interview this month, and then after like 4 months, you get an answer back from them. And that's because they were just so chilled because whatever. Okay, but so something like that, Yabon. So that's that. But please remember, and this is like, it doesn't really matter, but it matters. How you look presentable. Don't have a stain on your shirt. Don't have a like also, don't come there with too much makeup. Also, don't come there with, like the hair too, I don't know what. Just don't be too much, because you don't want them to think that you're already that type of a person, because they will think it, they will not say it. And people, trust me, people will, like, they jump into conclusions a lot with a lot of people. Sometimes you look at a person and you're like, I think she's this type of a person. That happens in an interview. So you don't want that. Yeah, but so you want them to at least say, or see you clean, you're neat, and you don't have too much makeup, you don't have big hair too much, like crazy hair. I used to have the crazy hair as well at work, but like that's when I was working there. And this lady at work said, yeah, I mean, some people have crazy hair, some people don't. I know she was talking about me. I was just like, whatever. But like, you know what I mean? Like, just don't have that in an interview, because it's gonna spark questions in their minds, and they're not good questions. You will stand out, but maybe not in a positive way. Okay, I'm just saying, we see, depending on which job it is. Maybe if it's a beauty job, you can do that. You can have the lashes, the brows on fleek, and what, big earrings, big hair, what, then it's fine. But if it's like a corporate job, they don't really like that. More often than not, trust me, they don't really like that. And maybe some people in the panel will, some people won't, and they'll have that discussion about you, and maybe the ones that like that will lose the discussion, or they'll lose the thing. Okay, so you don't want that. You don't want it to get there. Okay, so just be cool. But yeah, if you have all of that, you are nailing the interview, you are getting that job. Be confident, smile, laugh. The thing that I do, and I'm like, hi guys, my name is so and so, and then I laugh like in between. Be that person. Be who you are. Let's say that. Be who you are, and like, say whatever you want, but like, think about it. Obviously, just be very comfortable and very relaxed, because once you're not relaxed, also, and it shows, you know what I mean? And at that point, they're not trusting anything that comes out of your mouth, because it sounds like you're selling yourself, but like, I don't believe it. When you go on a date with a guy and he's like, "It's happy," and you look at him like, "I could happy." So you don't want it to be like that. You want it to be, you want a guy to just say things that will allude to the fact that you can trust him, but there are like more examples than the words "ntepe," and that makes you feel like you can trust him, right? That's what you want, or vice versa. Guys, the one other thing, sorry, the last thing, and I know that it's 3 things, but these are just like extras, right? Bonuses. Another thing, guys, is that when you do give your strengths and weaknesses, for instance, I'll say my strength is I like, as I said, I like selling, right? I'm a people's person. I like building relationships, whatever. Please remember to give an example and say, as an example, I make friends everywhere. Where I come from, my clients are my friends. Like, I just make friends with everybody, the people I work with, and the people that are my clients, and the people that are service providers. All those people become my friends, to a point that they even came to my wedding. That's the type of person I am. Okay, but you're giving examples, because remember that when you're in an interview, sometimes people don't trust what is coming out of your mouth, because you're selling yourself, and they know that it's all about who sold themselves best, but they want to feel like they can actually trust you, because Larry Kumari sounds like it's so true, you know what I mean? And when you give your weaknesses as well, just say, I hate admin, blah, 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 as an example, or for an example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but just say everything and give examples as much as you can, because sometimes they will ask you to give an example of what you're saying or whatever. And then, guys, remember that sometimes they will ask you technical questions, just as an example, right? When I say technical question, if you're applying for a job as a waitress, then they will sometimes ask you to tell them about but this is not after tell us about yourself. So if you nail that question, you're good, because your confidence levels are high. You feel like, I'm doing this, I'm there. Then they will ask you something like, so what do you do when a client walks through the door? And then that's when you'll say the things that you know, because they know that you know this, because you've been a waitress before, or you've seen what a waitress does, or whatever. They know that you know this, but like, they might ask it because they don't have any other thing to ask you, which is why you try to eliminate questions like that by giving them something else to say, which, as I mentioned, we would see at the end, say something like, I love sports, I'm into rugby, or whatever. Just say something that will make them feel like they can ask that, rather, as opposed to, what do you do when a person walks through the door? Because duh, I go to them. Even I know, and I've never been a waitress. Well, I've worked at King Pop, but anyways, that you walk through the door, you walk to them, and then you ask them, would you like table for two or table for one or whatever, or are you waiting for somebody? Then they tell you, you lead them to the table, smile all the time. And then you ask them, would you like something to drink while you wait? Give them the menus. They know that you know this, but so that's why they won't ask you that in most cases, like the day-to-day. Whoever will, like, angazofuna in, but yeah, if they do ask that, just answer it anyways. But because you will know what you're applying for. I would trust that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Like I said, my name is Deliwe Selepe. Please subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. Please like my video. It helps a lot. Please comment. Just, give me your views. Give me something. Just ask questions, and just also say something like thumbs up, that actually helps a lot. Or something like whatever, I like your video or whatever, just something, because it helps like a lot. And share, ask your friends to also watch. And if you have a friend that has an interview coming up, please share this with them, because you think these are the things that are like so common, so them. Babies, I know what's the word, but like when so obvious is the word. You think these things are obvious, they're not, because people actually go to interviews. Bang, I was noguti baphendule, tell us about yourself, and basati well, I'm Deliwe. Yeah, as you saw in my CV. No, I want you to tell me. I saw your CV, but like, tell me. You tell me what do you like? What type of a person are you? You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to know. So like, learn these things, put them in your head, rehearse them if you have to, and then when you say them, it's gonna be like so natural. But they will definitely 9 out of 10 times, actually 9.5 out of 10 times, they will ask you, tell us about yourself first. So keep that in mind. Okay, and share with your friends that are going to interviews, or that that are looking for jobs. Share this with them, and hopefully they'll also subscribe and like and comment and ask questions. And love you lots. Bye bye.